Alright, I'm going to do my assessment, my diagnosis, and my treatment plan and modalities. Client is a middle-aged male referred into the agency by his PCP. Client presented himself to be well-groomed and engaging throughout the session, despite stating feelings of being at rock bottom. Client states he is currently going through a divorce. He has no real support system. He's been experiencing very little appetite and disrupted sleeping patterns. Due to his situation, client expressed feelings of depression because of current situation with the dissolution of his marriage. He is new to the area and has little to no social interactions with others. Client states that he enjoys working out at the gym and playing basketball. He has interest in the arts and finds fishing to provide him with a state of relaxation. Client seems very willing to continue therapy and hopes to find ways to cope better with his symptoms of depression. Client reports a history of depression with several immediate family members, along with a successful suicide on part of a sibling. He has no medical issues to cause concern as per the assessment done by his primary care physician. Alright, and so he has children that are grown, but that live throughout the United States. So there's really kind of limited interaction with his children. Really just expressing, you know, not being able to really adjust or not knowing how to go about adjusting to his new situation with the divorce and separation, and stated that he was the primary caretaker for his children for so long, and the wife was out in the field working, so now finding himself without her backing or support, if you will, has caused some issues for him in trying to assess where to go from now, you know, from here, and what best measures to take. I would say for diagnosis, based on what he was presenting and all the information that I gathered, I felt that perhaps adjustment disorder with depressed mood, acute. He had multiple stressors going on, and the acute factor being that because it hasn't been 6 months, more than 6 months that he's been experiencing the depression and the symptoms and the situation as a whole. I would say that for treatment, I would suggest that he continue with individual psychotherapy until he finds a way to kind of better process and cope in a more self-sustaining and effective manner. Modalities that I would use with this particular client would certainly entail cognitive therapy, behavioral therapy, existential therapy, and person-centered therapy. I find that both the cognitive could address some of that maladaptive thinking based on the depression, along with the behavioral. The existential, I think, is just such a great therapeutic approach to take, more so for the components that it addresses, you know, the meaning of life, the isolation. I think would work really well in kind of helping him better understand the process of depression and you know, kind of make that connection with some of the symptoms that he's feeling. I also think that person-centered therapy with this particular client would work wonders because right now, being that life has really taken a turn, he could really kind of get through those layers and find who he is now in this new identity. Prior to this, you know, he was a homemaker, if you will, the father of 5 children whom he raised while the wife was out making ends meet and being the one who sustained them financially, and now he's without all those factors, and I mean, who is he at this point, and really exploring that for him, I think would really work well. Things that perhaps I could have done differently within this session, I think my approach was to just kind of let him vent and get a lot of that stuff out and just remain supportive. Perhaps I could have just kind of explored more the meaning of some of the symptoms he was exhibiting or expressing, such as, being at rock bottom. Well, what's that look like? What's that feel like for you? And maybe getting a little more involved with that. So yeah, overall, I feel like this, based on what he's presenting, would be how I would kind of provide treatment and go about working with this particular client. So a very integrative approach to therapy with the varied modalities I think could really work well. Definitely continue on the process of reassessing where he's at, and really focus on solution building as well. I think would be most helpful to him to kind of bring out strengths and qualities that he has that perhaps maybe he's kind of overlooked, that have been overshadowed because of the situation and the depression that he's feeling. Really build upon those and take it from there. So that's my assessment, my diagnosis, my treatment, and my suggestion for modalities. Thanks.